Purchasing an enterprise storage solution is an important decision that you don't want to regret. Don't be fooled by big performance numbers, as they might not be relevant to your business's workload. Today we'd like to discuss different interpretations of performance numbers and how to truly evaluate a storage vendor's performance. Let's start by defining some key terms. IOP. For our purposes, an IOP is a request from a server to a storage controller. It will have a defined size that can range from 512 bytes to multiple megabytes. Working set. The data that is actively being worked on during a given time period. The size of the working set is very important. It can be small or large depending upon the I/O patterns. Workload. The type of work that is being requested from a storage solution during a given time period. This is composed of IOPs small, large, or mixed, random or sequential access, reading or writing data, and the working set of data being acted upon. We hope that this video will convey two important concepts. Number one, how you define IOPs matters. Consider the size, pattern, and working set to truly evaluate the system's performance. Number two, use working sets that are larger than available system memory or cache. This ensures the storage system disks are utilized. If the working set can be served directly from the system cache, the performance numbers you will see will not be an accurate depiction of the true potential of the storage system. Today we will demonstrate how these numbers can be deceiving and how to discern them for yourself.
It's easy to generate a huge number by using a tiny block size of only 512 bytes and a working set size of only 20 megabytes that easily fits into storage controller memory. Look at the systat output from the storage controller and you can see we are pushing 46,000 operations per second to the storage controller. But when we look at the SSD column, we're only recording under 1,000 operations per second to the drives. Therefore, all of the workload is being served from the memory on the storage controller, something that you would very rarely ever see out in the real world. So then we look over at the VD bench window and we can see we are pushing in total almost 88,000 ops per second. Wow, look at that memory go. Now we move to another high IOPS test with an 8 kilobyte block size, which is typical of databases with 100% random reads. And again, we can generate a huge number by using a tiny 20 megabyte working set size that is completely stored in the storage controller cache. There's no disk activity going on here, so it's all from cache. Go cache go. Now, if we look at the throughput, we can see that in megabytes per second, it's 625 megabytes per second, which is just the product of multiplying the IOs times the 8 kilobyte block size. Now we change up the working set size to a more rational number, 100 gigabytes. We keep the IOP size at 8 kilobytes and we use a random workload. As you can see now, the amount of IOPs coming from the SSD drive columns is around 157,000 kilobytes per second. And this roughly matches the kilobytes per second going out of the storage controller. You can see that the drives are heavily utilized at around 96%. This is a typical working set size. Your working set size could go from hundreds of gigabytes even to terabytes. So now we're using a more rational number. And as you can see, the amount of IOPs has gone down and the throughput has gone down.
We hope that this video has conveyed two important concepts. Number one, how you define IOPs matters. Consider the size, pattern, and working set to truly evaluate the system's performance. Number two, use working sets that are larger than available system memory or cache. This ensures the storage system disks are utilized. If the working set can be served directly from the system cache, the performance numbers you will see will not be an accurate depiction of the true potential of the storage system. It is very important that you are able to relate your particular working set to what you are trying to test. Don't be fooled by big performance numbers, as they might not be relevant to your business's workload.